Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. I want to welcome everybody. Happy Saturday. I love seeing all of you come on the line. Super excited to get started. So we'll give everybody a second here to jump on the line. Happy Memorial Weekend to all of you who are celebrating. Drop in the comments, are you going somewhere, seeing family? Let me know what's up. Hello, Tanya. Hope you're feeling good. Good morning. So I'm super excited about today's topic, and it's always a hard decision when it's a holiday because you want to be sensitive to the holiday. And by the way, I hope all of you are surrounded by people that you love. I've not even made it to the cemetery yet to decorate any graves. I'm feeling like a bad sister-in-law, granddaughter, niece. There's all these places I need to go pay my respects and decorate. But I was thinking about that this morning, and that was actually the inspiration for my topic. And so always makes me think of my grandpa. And I told Dave, I said, it's Memorial Weekend. And when you think about what Memorial Weekend is about, it's not about the party at the lake, even though I would love to have our boat on the water and we have a full day of work lined up. It's not about the picnics with the friends and the beer and the bash. What it's really about is thinking about those people that paid the ultimate sacrifice for all of us to have freedom. And so we live in the greatest country in the world. We have choices, we have philosophies, and we, not our government or anyone else, decide what we're going to do with that freedom. And if you really think about the price that they paid for us to be able to speak, for us to be able to work, for us to be able to worship, for us to be able to do all the things that we can do, women playing sports, going to college, that's a thing that wasn't even a thing when my grandma and grandpa were alive. So yesterday, my daughter Callie had a lady working in her Tulsa store so she could have a couple days off to go to Kansas City. And the lady working in her store, she's probably watching this broadcast. She's a good friend of our family, knew my grandma and grandpa very well. And so a lot of times she'll ask Callie, so, were you close to Willard and Edna? And Callie's looking at me like, Mom, I don't know, there must be a time lapse here because I never met them. And I said, my grandma passed away when I was 12. My grandpa, the day he was there when I opened my beauty salon. He was actually an entrepreneur that helped me quit working for someone else to get their dreams and said, you need to go open your own shop and get your own dreams. And I remember being terrified and waiting for that first customer to come on February 14th. It was Valentine's Day. He was sitting there with me. And then April 30th, he was gone. It was just a tragic, out of the blue lung cancer that one day he was there and a few months later he was gone. But I think about him, and the word that comes to mind is your philosophy and your character. And some of my greatest memories with him, he had all these huge satellites in his backyard, and everybody always thought he was kind of a freak because he had these satellites that were like as big as a car, like 3 of them. And I remember during the Iraq war, I was young, I was high school graduate going to college. And I can just remember sitting with him for hours, 2 recliners in the back room. My grandpa's wife, my grandmother, had passed away. And at the time he was single. And we would just sit there for hours and talk about his philosophy, his character. Last night I was falling asleep listening to some good stuff. And I came across these 2 gentlemen in this video. They had been in separate concentration camps during the Holocaust. Both of them tattooed by the same person, survived, talked about 2,000 people being marched and then only 500 coming out of there. Anyway, they were reunited on this YouTube TED Talk, and they were talking about what it took to make it and to survive and everything they went through. Of course, I was bawling listening to it, but the one man was talking about, it was my mom, my dad, my little brother. One minute I was there was my little brother. The next minute my little brother was gone. And I was just imagining, what in the heck are we complaining about when you really think about people before us? I always hear Dave's mom talk about her daddy was over in the war and her sister was born and he didn't know her. He didn't know the little girl till she was over a year, 18 months old. I just Think about that, you guys. And I imagine my little 18-month-old granddaughter, and I imagine having a son deployed fighting for our freedom and him never seeing Lola until right now when she's 18 months old. Unfreaking believable. The price that people pay, the sacrifice they make so that we can all have freedom. And then the real unbelievable part to me is the lack of respect and philosophies that are just so far from what my philosophy would be, which is okay. Nobody has to be the same as everyone else, but character, right? So this morning I was listening to Jim Rohn. And if you don't know who Jim Rohn is, write this down, Jimrohn. I met him with my children in 2007. We actually took all of our employees. Figure if I had to work around all these people when we owned our own company, I wanted them to have a really good philosophy. And you know, that's the challenge. Sometimes we're surrounded by people who their philosophy is just so different than our philosophy. And that's okay. You can still love them. Just love them from a distance, because I'm going to tell you something. You will become like the people you hang around, and your income, your relationships, your marriage, your health, your weight, your mental clarity, everything that makes you will be the average of your 5 closest friends. So looking back on this, everything that I learned from people who, when I think of character, I think of my grandma and grandpa. You know, there's a lot of people in my life that I love. I just don't think of them when I think of the word character or philosophy. What kind of a parent do you want to be? What kind of a grandparent do you want to be? What do you want your portfolio to look like? And if success has nothing to do with your portfolio in your mind, maybe you're wildly successful. But for me, my belief systems and what I was taught, and your belief system is your belief system based on what you've been taught to the age that you're at, whether it was your grandma told you something, your grandpa, a teacher, a coach, your mom, your dad, your preacher. See, we start to believe these things, whether they're true or not. So sometimes you have to examine your beliefs and say, maybe I have a blanked up philosophy. And I'm not going to say that word, but that's the only way I can think of it. Maybe your philosophy is the challenge. And Aristotle says that your character and your philosophy is developed, and his whole quote was, I have to look it up, age 52, I think it was. By the age of 52, your definition of character has been developed in your philosophy. So me and Dave are looking at each other this morning like, we got 2 more years to figure out what our philosophy is, right? But if you reach a certain age and you think about everything that you've been taught and everything you've been given and everything that you have in your hands, you know, when you're 18, you have a certain philosophy. There are a lot of kids right now that maybe they didn't get to have their graduation, but their philosophy is, if I can just get invited to the next party, if I can just land one date with that girl, if I could just get this job at McDonald's, I could buy that truck. Like, everybody has their own philosophy, right? And your philosophy that you're developing is going to be the movie that plays out in your life, because we can't blame anyone else for where we're at right now. If you look at your checkbook, if you look at your education, if you look at your relationships, your credit card debt, your health, your weight, your habits, you know, your mental, whatever it is only the way that it is because you are settling for that. Like, you're allowing that to be in your life. Sometimes that's a hard thing. And there's been times when I've had a blanked up philosophy and I'm like, what in the world am I doing in this situation? How did I get here? How am I going to get out of this situation? Why me, right? And we need to not say, why me? We need to say, why not me? Because it's that messed up time when you develop the most important word, character. And I remember when my kids were little, we would watch this TV show, you know, It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, or Barney, or whatever it was. And it would always say, character counts. Character counts. You know, you taught them this since they were 3, but then they get to be 18, 21, 25. You're like, what the heck? That's not what I taught you. This is why. Because everyone has to go on their own journey. You can't hate your mistakes. You can't hate your past. You can't hate your bankruptcy, your failed marriage, your business that went bust, the wrong turn that you took in a decisive moment, because that's where we develop character. Only during adversity. Nobody grows unless they're getting their butt kicked, right? The football team that wins every single game never learns a lesson because they're just winners. They just win, and it's great to say all I do is win, but nobody gains any strength. Nobody gains any lessons. Nobody gains any knowledge. Nobody builds character when all they're doing is winning. We only get better from losses, lessons, and mistakes that we learn from. So when you think about this, scratch everything that's happened. Imagine yourself as an ant. Oh, do you guys like my shirt? I just noticed it because there's a banner. Okay, killing it all day, every day. I had to wear this today because I started this new philosophy that I was going to be healthy and I was going to be my ideal weight. It's a pretty cool shirt. I don't even know who bought it for me, but I usually don't wear it because it shows your tummy a little, but I just took before pictures, so I wore it. But I like what it says because it reminds me, if this is going to be my philosophy, then I can't eat ice cream, drink soda, and skip exercising, right? Even though I hate exercising, it's a non-income producing activity, and I like to be doing things that I can check off getting closer to my goals. So last night, I developed a new philosophy. So Dave and I hooked up with this trainer, and he showed us, he was 210 pounds. He showed us the picture of his blubber. And then he said, this is what I did. And after 30 days, do you see them abs? And we went through a little ab workout, and guess what? I didn't sweat, but I was cussing a lot. It hurt. I know it was working. I hate that, running, sweating. I don't know why. I hate being hot. I hate sweating. But somehow I got to get rid of this extra pounds, right? So I found a way that I could develop a philosophy that if I could just do this every night, lay on a carpet, work on my abs, swim in a pool to where I got some cardio going and it was didn't feel like I was on a treadmill. Maybe I could do that. So when you find a way that you know that you can win and you can see yourself doing it, then and only then are you going to take action to make it happen. And the most important thing is you have to want the end result. You have to begin with the end in mind. So, strength of character. Let's talk about this. Your definition of success. If you were supposed to do a little essay and write this down, what is your definition of success? What would that look like? Well, to me, it would be that I was an amazing mom, an amazing wife. We had a ton of fun. We filled all these bookshelves full of pictures and experiences, and we didn't have to worry. That's really what I want. I want to make memories with people. I want to make a positive impact on people. To me, I don't need a Rolls Royce. I don't even want a Rolls Royce. Some of my kids want this G-Wagon. I think it's the ugliest vehicle on the street. But to them, if they bought the G-Wagon, to me, it looks like an old army Jeep or something. I can't believe they're $125,000. I would rather take 20 people and go on a Disney cruise and chill for a week than have a G-Wagon parked out front, right? So it all depends on your philosophy of what success is. But once you get that figured out, and I know it's really hard to develop character and philosophy when your credit cards are maxed out. You just went through COVID-19. You never dreamt that you would get laid off. You absolutely didn't plan for this. You're trying to figure out how to keep your health insurance going, right? Because you don't know what the future holds. And here you are. You're just in the middle of this crap storm trying to figure out what is my philosophy. And let me tell you guys, I didn't experience that during COVID-19, but 4 years ago, I experienced that. And I made a decision at that time. I did not care what it took. I was going to get rid of my messed up philosophy. And it was character building years. This is what Chance and I always laugh about. Those were our character building years. Those are the years where you change, you get stronger, you get wiser, you draw a line in the sand and you say, I'm never going to settle for this again. And I will tell you, 3 years ago, April 10th, I missed my anniversary with Dave to go to a Most Powerful Women's event. And I still have the notes from that event. In fact, it's coming up this Tuesday. It's going to be live streamed. But it wasn't one woman on stage that said anything. It was actually the man that was introducing them. And he said, you're a woman and you have all the potential in the world. You know what you're capable of. He said, it's your character. It's your philosophy. If you're not killing it, who's putting a lid on you? And right away, I knew the answer to that. Why are you allowing that at this age in your life, at this point in your business? What, are you afraid? Are you just, you don't want to rock the boat? Are you not going to step into your own greatness? Do you have a blanked up philosophy? Like, how did you get to where you're at anyway if you're not killing it? Because the stage is yours. You're the one writing the screenplay. You're the one playing out the movie. If you're stuck, get unstuck. What the heck is wrong with you? And I can remember coming home from there, and the only thing I said to Dave when I got out of the airplane into the car, I sat down. He said, how was your weekend? I said, it was great. He said, are you inspired? I said, no, not really. He said, does that make you want to go build a big business? I said, no, makes me want to go do something else. He said, really? I said, yeah. And I started a website, a Facebook page. I cloned this whole 4 letters. And I remember I was going to start a seminar, not even kidding you guys. And maybe someday I'll still do it. It was called Focus on Your Own Shit. That's exactly what I named it. And then I was like, yeah, nobody might not come to that. It's kind of rude. I was angry. And I looked at Dave and I said, I am going to focus on my own stuff. I don't give a crap about what anybody else tries to guilt me into do or say. I don't care about past mistakes. I don't care about decisions. Here's the bottom line. We're going to 10 times our income. I am not going to be 45 years old having someone else determining my income, what products I'm going to sell, what I'm going to do, what vacation home I'm going to live in, if I have a college fund for my grandkids, if I can go be there when they're born. Nobody's calling the shots in my life. Nobody's putting a lid on me. And I remember it was that day. And I was in a bad situation. I had made some business decisions none of us ever saw coming to the point that they were at. None of us planned to fail. None of us thought that's the way the story was going to play out. It just sucked. That's the only thing I can say about it. And I didn't feel good. And my mentor 23 years ago said every day, feel good now, feel good now, feel good now. And I remember thinking of like an ant. And Jim Rohn reminded me of this today. Let's say that you're an ant. An ant doesn't screw off all summer. He's not at the lake today with a 24-pack of beer. He is working because it's summertime and he's planning for winter, right? Now, sometimes I get tired of being an ant because not an ant like to my nieces and nephews, but like the little red ant, right? Because I feel like Dave and I are always grinding when everyone else is playing. So sometimes you're like, what is my philosophy? Everyone else has fun. They're all at the beach. They're taking selfies. I'm over here grinding, working a 14-hour day, 16-hour day, 20-hour day. I was supposed to have a conference call this morning at 8 while I was doing my makeup, getting ready for 9. And right after this, I have a conference call Zoom at 10. Some people would say, I don't want to work that hard. Depends on your philosophy. Depends on your philosophy. What do you want? Because when you love what you do, you never compare yourself to anyone else because you know how the screenplay, you know how the movie ends. You're the one focused on your own stuff. You know how it's going to play out. You know that you know that you know because you're like an ant. If the ant comes up on a big boulder and he's really, really little and the boulder is this big, what does the ant try to do? First thing he tries to do, go around it. If he can't go around that side, he comes back, goes around at the other side. If he can't go around at that side, he tries to go over it. If he can't go over it, he tries to dig a tunnel to go under it. And if he can't go around it, over it, or under it, he will go get a tribe and say, let's all work together. We can move this. And do you know what happens? If the pile of ants can't move that big grain of sand or boulder or whatever it is in their size, they try to eat it. And when do they quit? Only when they die. Because they're not going to quit. They're going to die trying. And I think I literally have the philosophy of an ant because I am not going to settle. And you shouldn't settle. Thinking back to the one person who means the most to you, who went and fought in these wars, who risked their life or died for us to all have freedom, and then to think that you would be complacent, not even a bit. It's hard to be a good philosophy and a ton of character. When your debts are high, your funds are low, you know you screwed up, you know you've had a blanked up philosophy, and you're sitting there looking in the mirror like, how in the world did I get to this point at the age 50? You guys, at the age of 45, I looked in the mirror and I had made more residual income at the age of 25 than 45. And I was in a bad situation. And I was loyal, I was honest, I had character, I was leading a team, I didn't know what to do. These were my friends, I loved these people. We were just all in a bad situation. And I had to make a decision. What can I do to change my financial future without hurting anyone, without not being loyal, without saying bad things about anyone, without being caught up in gossip, without playing the blame game? It was the worst time of my life. Dave's mom got cancer. They gave her 90 days to live. I had a daughter fighting the worst battle I've ever seen anyone fight. It was the hardest battle I've ever been through. And I had another daughter that was going through a lot of stuff, not near as bad as the one, but heartbreak is a pretty bad thing after 8 years of a relationship for all of us. Like, my son had moved 15 hours away. He was trying to figure out his life. And here I am, the mom, saying, wow, was I a bad parent? And I'm looking at my bank account saying, am I a bad business person? And I'm looking at my relationship saying, are we really this stressed out? And at the end of the day, I got on my knees and I prayed that I could change, that the only way that things could get better is if I would get better. And this is what we said. Don't ever mention their name again. The past is the past. The windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. I don't care what those people did to me. I don't care where we're at right now. I don't care what mistakes I made. I learned, I grew, I'm better, I'm stronger. Thank you, Lord, for all the lessons. I've had enough character building years. I'm about to be killing it. I am going to go figure this out and I'm going to kill it. And in a different industry, you guys, nobody even knew that I found a different way to make money. Silently, people just thought I was fighting a battle with my family. I went and made $1 million in 12 months working. Here's the reality, and I keep referring to the book, The 1 Minute Millionaire. Every single one of you can do it. I decided I was not a 10,000 a month girl. I was a 100,000 a month girl, and I was going to go and do it. And you will get paid the exact amount of value you bring to the marketplace. Now, let me tell you what's bad about traditional business. I had pneumonia all 3 years. I worked 16-hour days. I never stopped working. Last Memorial Day, I was in the hospital getting IVs with a poison prescription that caused me to have torn ligaments and tendons, and I couldn't even hardly walk, but it was what they did to make my lungs work, right? But I was the aunt. I was the aunt that was not going to just lay down and die. I was going to find a way to be free. And I kept thinking in my mind, I know my talent, I know my character, I know my philosophy. How do I get out of this crappy situation and focus on your own SHIT? This is all I could think about. So I blocked out what anybody else would think. I blocked out what anybody else would say. I didn't listen to the people that said, you better slow down. That's too far. That's too much. That's too much of a risk. I don't know about that. CBD might be illegal a year from now. This is good. This is bad. This is good. This is bad. That's their philosophy, guys. You got to focus on yours. And what happened for Dave and I, we started to stack up cash. We didn't change our lifestyle. We didn't change anything that we did. I didn't buy new clothes. I still have the same old kitchen. All my family remodeled kitchens in the last 4 or 5 years. It's hard when I go to their house and I see this beautiful new white kitchen and I don't like the orangey wood in mine. And I say, I could get a new kitchen. And then the hot tub breaks and I say, I could go buy a new hot tub. But in my mind, my lesson learned was do not spend money, be debt free, stack up cash, only buy assets, never buy a liability. And it's hard, you guys, because when you yourself make up your mind that you're going to have this certain character and this certain philosophy based on the things that you've learned, it takes a really hard word. Here's what it takes. Discipline. Discipline. I don't have Netflix. I don't know how to log into Netflix. I haven't seen Netflix. I don't know about the Tiger. I don't know about the Ozarks. I don't know about Breaking Bad. I mean, I have missed so many TV shows that people say, oh my gosh, if you ever start watching it, Money Heist. My kids all watch Money Heist at Christmas. They got Money Heist suits and they laughed and they dressed up with Dave, and I'm over here like, what's Money Heist? I don't know, but I want to tell you guys something. My philosophy is I'm going to be free. I'm going to be financially free, because the character that I have is that if it doesn't feel good and I'm not having fun and there's any question of my decision, where I'm leading people, what I'm doing, what I'm saying, if it's going to be questioned, is that true? Then I'm out. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I owned my own company for many years, and about 2014, Dave and I got sold on a merger. And I want to tell you guys, I have been in the shitstorm for a decade of me having to just put up with stuff that I was like, how in the world did I build a business to 1.2 million and then have someone just take that away like that? It's never going to happen again. And if you experience this in COVID-19, you should be looking in the mirror saying, that's never going to happen again, because you're better than that. You're stronger than that. You're smarter than that. You're wiser than that. What is your philosophy, right? So it shaped me. And I want to tell you guys something. Never again will I ever worry about who's going to take care of my kids and grandkids, or my legacy, or my whatever it is, the book I haven't written yet, the lives I haven't touched, because I made a decision and I adapted a new philosophy of what my character stands for. And some of you need to do that. I'm still friends with all those people. I love them all. Even the lady that hurt me, even the lady that hates me, the one who said we're not going to pay them what we owe them and took our brand. I have no hate for her. All love, all the time. That's right. I know you can't believe I'm saying it. I love her. I pray for her. I think to myself, thank you, lady, for coming into my life and teaching me them lessons, because now I know what to do and what not to do. Learned it when I was 43 instead of when I'm 73. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Lesson learned. On with my philosophy. This is what you guys need to do. I want to send them a thank you note, but my attorneys say that wouldn't be a good idea. You need to forgive the people from your past and say, thank you for that. Like, that's the greatest lesson I ever learned. The bullies, the liars, the naysayers, the people who say, yeah, that's never going to work because the way that you did it, let them be the reason you get rich beyond your wildest dreams. God put them in that path to inspire you to not be the ant that quits. You're going to die trying. And if you don't have that, you need a bigger dream. When your dreams are big enough, the facts don't count. When your dreams are big enough, the price you pay becomes obsolete. You don't care what it costs because the dream means that much to you. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And I want to tell you guys something. You have to evaluate your character like you would your vehicle. We drove the other night because I couldn't stand to be away from my grandkids anymore. And we got in the car and we drove 16 hours straight. Now, it wasn't very fun. People on the way there were a lot different than me. Couldn't get a Starbucks, couldn't use a public bathroom, had to find, whatever you could do to survive to get there because of the situation. But I didn't care because all I could think about was snuggling with Jet and Knox and Lola. That's what you need. You need something so big. You don't care what it takes to get there. It might be risky. My mom said, you really think you should leave? I don't know if you should be traveling right now. And I said, Mom, I'm going and I'll be fine. And I was. And this is what you have to do, you guys. You have to not worry about all the people that are trying to keep you safe and sell you on their philosophy and tell you what their dreams are for you and their beliefs are for you. You have to do what makes you feel congruent with your beliefs and your core values and your character. So we have gauges in our life, just like the gauge on the car. Dave and I got in the car. We filled up a cooler because we knew we probably wouldn't be able to stop a lot of places. We had a full tank of gas. We had our navigation system. We knew where we were going to stop to get gas because then there was a big desert to cross, right? And the car runs on fuel. So if it says it's getting low, I know we need to get some gas. If the ice in the cooler melts and there's meat in there, we know we need to get some ice. But what about your character? We have the same variables in our life, you guys. Just like the F button on your little gauge, fuel, empty, and full, you have those same gauges. And I'm going to give you a few of them that I stole this morning from Jim Rohn. He killed it this morning in my little mind. So here's what he said. You have to look at variables. And the fuel, the F, I guess you would say, on your character, I want you to take out a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle, and on the left side put C. That's complacency. And on the right side, R. That's refusal to give up, not stopping till I get to Arizona, right? Complacency would be, we've been home for 53 days. We could stay home another 30 days. I mean, pretty soon we'll be able to fly. We could just wait. No, I'm not complacent, not even a little bit complacent. Refusal to give up on my goals and dreams. My goal, time with family, time with the people that I love. I could die in the next 30 days. You think I'm going to stay home just because somebody's worried about me driving 12 hours and not getting enough rest? No, variables cannot control you when you figure out what your character, your core value, your philosophy is. When it comes to family, write this word down, family. I don't know about you, but this is my philosophy. Refuse to compromise. Refusal to compromise. I will do anything for them. When it comes to pettiness, dishonesty, gossip, news, literally makes my blood boil. I don't care what your cousin did. I don't care what your cousin's fiance did. I don't care what my own kids' fiancés or fiancés' moms or dads or brother, like I don't care. Here's the thing, you guys. People are going to do good and bad. People are going to make mistakes. People are going to make poor decisions. People are going to have bad habits. I don't care. Because what they do has no effect on my philosophy, and it shouldn't have on your philosophy. And even if they make poor decisions, you shouldn't judge them. You should embrace them. Guess what? Even if you're a Republican and they're a Democrat, you should just be like, I can see why they would believe that way. Love them. It doesn't really matter, you guys. 8 years from now, you'll be arguing about a brand new one. It happens every 4 and 8 years. Such an energy drain. Guess what? You can't control it anyway. It's an uncontrollable. The only thing it does is messes with your philosophy. My philosophy is feel good now, feel good now, feel good now. Whatever happens is happening with or without me. I'm going to get rich in the meantime. I don't have time to be watching the automatic income reducer, scrolling on my news feed, scrolling on my channels. I got grandkids to take to Disney. I got a business to build. I got a mortgage to pay off. I got real estate to buy, stocks to invest in. I have dreams and goals on my wall. I got a kitchen to remodel, a landscape I need to do out front. These are the things you need to be thinking about, you guys, because if not, I will guarantee you, watching the news tonight, you will not be foyos. You will be foyos on their stuff, not yours. You need to get focused because your philosophy gets messed up. It gets all perplexed. You're all worried about all these people and what they're doing that really you can't control what other people do. We can only control us. I was in a company once where I was like, why in the hell would they do that? Why would they make that decision? Do you know what that just did? Do you know what that just did? Why did that guy say that from stage? Do you know what that just did to my team? Oh my goodness. Why would that guy be married and have these mistresses? Why would that guy scream like that and say, like, I would say these things all the time. And one day I said, I'm just going to remove myself from the whole entire situation. And I'm going to go over here where I can feel good. I saw a girl yesterday, quit her job, got a new job. Everybody was congratulating her. Everybody was commenting, so happy you're away from that mean girl. So happy you got a new life away from that mean girl. Now you don't have to be bullied. And I was thinking, how long has she been discussing the mean girl and being bullied that everyone on Facebook is congratulating her for getting away from the mean girl? Yay for her, right? But here's the thing. Why even comment? Why do you even have to comment about anyone if it's not positive? I want to tell you guys something. There should be, in my opinion, a philosophy on Facebook etiquette. And if it's not nice, people shouldn't say it. Because when someone goes and looks at what you said and they read that it's mean, you're mean. People will say, oh, praying for blessings, praying for America, praying for a great outcome. And then they're mother effing every single thing on their Facebook page. And it makes me think they're bipolar. They have two different philosophies because you guys, we can't attract all good when all we're doing is talking bad. We just can't. It doesn't even go in the same sentence. It's like a light bulb you're trying to turn on, but somebody's pushing down on the button. It's like a magnet that you're trying to attract the positive, but all you can do is show the negative. You are attracting everything that's in your life, your checkbook, all the bad habits, all the mean people. You're allowing it is what you're doing. So what Dave and I decided to do, we decided to allow those people to be the way they were and remove ourselves from the situation. You can do it. It's a split-second philosophy. Pettiness, dishonesty, unethical, anything on a team, back-end deals, lies, favors. It's icky, you guys. It's icky. If I can't look at you and tell you that I know this to be true, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander, I'm not going to do it because that's not the way it should be. Now, life is not fair. Life is not going to be fair. It's not. But we don't have to be mean. We don't have to be unethical. We don't have to be dishonest. We don't have to do things that aren't right to win. We can all win, and nobody has to be cut down. Nobody has to have an ego in order for them to be successful. Now, ego and confidence are two different things. I'm confident. I'm killing it every day, all day. But I'm humble because I've sucked you know what for the last 4 or 5 years learning to be killing it again. We're all going to go through times that are not fun. We're all going to go through times that are not fun. Never in 4 years did I post, I hate my life. What in the hell was she thinking? Why is this happening to me? Oh my gosh, so-and-so is so sick. Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. I never talked about sick, broke, sad, addicted, depressed, angry, cheated. I never put any of that out there because what you put out there, it's all coming back to you. It's like a mirror. So now let's look at these gauges. I want you to put the F over there for complacency and say, I don't need to get to Arizona. We can wait a while. We can just go. What's the difference anyway? We can FaceTime them. That's complacency. Look at your business and say, I don't have to hit it this month. I can hit it next month. I mean, it's all hype anyway. That always happens for her, never happens for me. Or you might take this second bunch of gauges and I would write this down. Over here is F for fear. Over here is D for decision. Here's the reality. Fear, you can choose right or left every single day. Go nowhere, stay here. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't make the call. Maybe I shouldn't post that on my Facebook wall. I don't know. I'm trying to get up the courage. I'm scared to post it, but I want to. I don't know. Maybe I should. And then over here is decision. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm doing it. Fo-yos. You guys should just put that in your brain. Focus on your own stuff. Don't worry about anyone else's applause because some people aren't going to clap for you no matter how much you dance. It won't matter what you do. Someone is going to be mad. And I was in a little bit of a sticky situation because these are my best friends, my own family, people's livelihood, people's checks. And then I'm over here like, okay, what do? I prayed a lot, you guys. I prayed a lot. Never burn a bridge. Keep the relationships. Communication is key. You go walk your walk. You do what you need to do. You never talk crap on the people. You never blame the people. You love the people. You be positive. You pray for them. You hope they succeed. Heck, you support them. You support them. You continue to say, that's a great company. That's a great brand. I was on the phone yesterday with a lady from Canada, and she's in the previous company that I, had a horrible experience in. And I said, that's a great company. That's a great company. They have great products. In fact, some of my family still uses them. And that was the best thing that I could do. Why would I want to bring up all the negative? Because then guess what I would get? More negative. You got to walk your walk no matter what happens to you. You got to say, I'm doing this no matter what happens to you. And the way that Jim Rohn explained it today when he was talking about the ant really hit home for me, you guys, because some of you have had so much happen to you. Here's the other thing that he said while you're drawing the F on the left: fear, inability to make a decision, inability to make a promise, inability to put your flag down and be sold out to something, inability to commit to go to college, commit to get married, whatever it is, because fear keeps you back. But when you have the P on the right side, write down P, it's a promise. So on the left is fear, on the right is promise. These are like your gas gauge. Promise, I intend to build this. I intend I am taking my kids to Atlantis for a week on Thanksgiving. I already am working on my Atlantis body. I already am making payments on the trip. I already know we need passports. When you promise something, it's not like you're assuming, you just want it a little bit. No, you want it so bad, you'll do whatever it takes to get there. If it's school, I'm going to go to school for 5 years. I saw one of my daughter Brooklyn's classmates graduated yesterday and became a pharmacist. Her core values, her philosophy was always grades and being smart. 8 years. Can you guys imagine? 8 years of school. She did it. She finally graduated. Now she can go get her job, get paid what she wants to as a pharmacist. Other people are like, I would never commit to 8 years because they don't want it that bad. That's not their philosophy. They would have rather had fun the last 8 years, went and been an entrepreneur, done their own thing, took some risks, failed a few times. Other people are like, I could never fail because failing would mean in my philosophy that I'm bad. I can't fail at anything, right? So it's easier to just play it safe. It just depends on what your philosophy is. Let me tell you that on the F side, on the fear side, that's when you get apathy. Oh, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's no big deal. I'll be all right. I'll be all right if I don't get that. No, apathy is like you're alive and you're walking around this planet like a corpse that all of your dreams died. Like that's worse than dying to me. I would never want to be on this planet with no dreams and goals, no hopes, nothing to look forward to, and be complacent. That would be torture for me. I can't even imagine it. But if you had a sick kid and you knew you had to find the right doctor to get the kid well, if you needed to come up with $100,000 to hire an attorney or your child was going to be on death row, I mean, I'm trying to think of the worst case scenarios. You knew that you had to find the evidence of something, in order to save the world, like whatever it is. When you have a dream and you are just sold out, I'm going to do this like my life depends on it. There is no apathy. There is no fear. There is no excuse. You just go as hard as you have to go until you get it done because you act like your life depends on it. And I'm going to tell you guys, your life does, because none of us are getting any younger. We owe it to ourselves to evaluate our character. Look at whatever it is, your philosophy that you gauge your success on. If it's not a Rolls Royce, like it's not for me, what do you want? And every decision I make, I say, is this an asset or is this a liability? And if it's a liability, I'm paying cash for it. If it's an asset, I don't know. But I'm not going to get caught ever again in that situation where I'm 45 years old, wondering if I may have to go to my mom and say, Mom, is there any way that you could help me? I'm in a pickle. Now, can you even imagine? I don't know how I ever got in that situation anyway. But here's the thing. I was loyal to the wrong things. I was worried about the wrong things. I was talking about the wrong things. I was discussing people. I was discussing what they did to me. And one day I realized small-minded people discuss people. Small-minded people discuss people and situations. And people who are visionaries, they discuss opportunities. So one day, and lately I met this friend of mine, Heidi Whitehair. Her entire office is full of pears, fruit, like gold pears, white pears, brass pears. I thought it was kind of odd at first. She has them all over her office. Her entire team sends them to her because she used to tell them to grow a pear. And that sounds kind of rude, but this has been my biggest weakness, that I had to change my philosophy. Sometimes you have to stand up and say, what everybody else thinks or says doesn't really matter, because this is my philosophy and my character. And that's not easy, especially when you never want to hurt anyone's feelings. You never want to rock the boat. You want to keep friendships for life. I mean, you're a loyal friend. You're never going to rock the boat. You would never do anything to hurt their feelings. Here's what I want to ask you guys something. At the end of this life, when you're on your deathbed and your family is all around you, do those people really care? Will they be there? Are they going to be there to pay your medical bills? Are they going to be there to put your kids through college? Are they going to be there? Maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's your right now. I have a friend who's in a horrible relationship, not married, but they've lived together forever. And I love this lady. I absolutely love this lady. But when we're on the phone, she will be in tears. I'm in an abusive relationship, and at this age, I don't know what to do. And I pray for her every single freaking day. And I'm like, you're a boss. How in the world could you let somebody put a lid on you? And if it is your employer, your neighbor, your spouse, your significant other, your father-in-law, your stepmother-in-law, whoever it is that is putting a lid on you, judging you, talking about you, trying to influence you, bad-mouthing you, stealing from you, hurting you, whatever it is that they're doing, you guys, what you have to realize is you're allowing it. The lady I was in business with 8 or 9 years ago, I had never met anyone so mean in all of my life. And everyone talked about it all the time, but nobody would do anything about it. And one day my husband, who does have a pair, doesn't really care. There's no gray area. It's black or it's white. I remember it so well. All these millionaires, we're all in a suite. We're all there. We're on this paid vacation. And everyone complaining and everyone bad-mouthing and all the drama and all the gossip. And Dave he hates it. He wrote a book called The Thinking Cure. Feel good now. Find the good. Always find the good. What you plant, you get. He would never be surrounded by a bunch, especially wealthy business people, talking crap on someone that was part of the circle, right? And then he said, I can't believe that you guys are sitting here discussing this when we're all on our dream vacation. Like, if you're going to sit here and discuss this and you're not going to do anything about it, I'm going to go do something else. And he did. And he said, I'll go focus on my traditional business. And he did. Literally, just like, good luck, Barb. Peace out. I'm not going to be surrounded by those kind of people. And he did. And that's the very business that ended up bringing in millions of dollars for our family at a time when I had been focused on building someone else's dream. And I want to tell you guys something. That lesson in our life happened to tell us what to do, what not to do, what to stand for, what not to stand for. If there's ever a gray area when it comes to your character, when it comes to your philosophy, when it comes to your core values and your beliefs, you have to self-examine. Where will you be 5 years from now? Because if it's not happening right now, how is it going to happen 5 years from now if you don't change your philosophy? I changed my philosophy. It changed my finances. It changed my marriage. It changed my health. I didn't get pneumonia this year. I didn't get coronavirus, and some of my friends did. But I want to tell you guys something. I think I had it. I really do. Not going to discuss that on here, but here's the reality. When you have a made-up mind that you're not going to feed the negative, you'll just get well. You'll get better. Your finances will get better. Your relationships will get better. The things you attract in your life will get better. And look, I had to look at an age where I was like, wow, I was better off 20 years ago than I am now, to really get mad about my philosophy and say, who's feeding me this philosophy and why am I buying it? And it's not easy, you guys. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you yourself need to think about where you live, the country that you're in, the freedom that you have, the opportunities that are all around you, and the decisions that you've made thus far. Because it's never too late to play catch up. It's never too late to play catch up. And the minute that you decide and you write it down and you make a decision that you're putting the blinders on, nobody's putting any type of a lid on you, you are going for it. I'm going to tell you, your life is going to get better within 24 hours. And when you stick to it and you stay disciplined and you never waver from your gauges, and I will put all these notes down after my Zoom that starts in 10 minutes. I got to close this up. I will post the notes, but I want to tell you guys something. It was the greatest training that I ever had. Eric Worre telling me, who's putting a lid on you? Why are you allowing that to happen? And if you're not making what you want to be making, why are you settling for that? Crazily enough, I was there with one of my good friends who actually bought my ticket and told me I needed to go. Her name's Vanessa, and I met a lady, Heidi, and I was introduced to her in a suite to speak to her team. I was all business. They were Alot products and customers. I wasn't really interested in building a bunch of customers, had never really done that before. I was always looking for builders. I was always looking for the next boss that wanted to go make money with me. And it's crazy because we came from two different philosophies. We were in two separate companies. We became friends. We Didn't rekindle that friendship until last May, this very weekend. My daughter was graduating from Kansas State. I showed up at a convention. She was at the convention as a surprise to me. We saw each other 10 minutes in a suite. I left, flew out, missed the whole convention, went to my daughter's college graduation, got back to my grind. I mean, I just got back to my own grind. I wasn't really building the industry of direct sales at all. I was so glad that she was there because I was like, she's a great leader. She'll lead my team. That was needed because I was absent. And you guys, it's just funny how on Dave's 50th birthday, January 6th, we rekindled a relationship. I wasn't interested in the industry of direct sales ever again. Too much. I wasn't ever going back that direction again. But everything I prayed for during the battle of the, I don't know what you would call it, the last 10 years, it was just like God packaged it up and put it on a table and said, this is what I'm going to put in front of you. Take it or leave it. And you guys, he wants to do that for you too. He will package it up, thrust you suddenly into more success than you've ever experienced in your life, better health than you've ever had in your life, stronger relationships, better friendships. I mean, just everything that your philosophy and character stands for can be packaged up perfect for you. If it's money, he'll show you the way to money. If it's the right spouse, he'll show you the way to the right spouse. But I want to tell you the bad news. The devil is working on a package too. And he's going to package it up to look even better than what you're going to get from the creator. And you're going to be tempted. And that's when your character comes in. One company was like, we'll give you $2 million. Sign right here. And one of my friends was like, well, you know, we could do that. And Dave and I are over here, not for $2 million. We've been in that situation before. Wouldn't do that again for $10 million. No, never going to be lured into a deal, right? If you want the $2 million, go take it. Depends on what your philosophy is, you guys. You need to get clear on what your core values are, what you stand for, what your character is, what you deserve, what success looks like for you. And maybe it has nothing to do with money. Maybe you want to build a church. I almost started a church last summer, but I cussed too much. But I really want to in my next lifetime. I told Dave, if I could never have a red beer ever again, and I could just never cuss again, I know I could build the biggest church in the Midwest. I know I could. I have too many situations in my life that I could just tell the stories and people would be like, I believe it. That's a miracle. Like, I could be a preacher, but maybe not in this lifetime. Here's the reality, you guys. God wants to serve it all to you on a silver platter, and it can be effortless when you get congruent. You've got to get on your knees and pray for it. You got to forgive everyone that you hate that's ever hurt you. Love them. Send them all love. Don't forgive them for them. What they did was wrong. Forgive them for you so the blessings can start flowing to you. And the other thing that I would say to you, Dave says, yes, you do. I'm going to be late for my Zoom. The other thing that I would say to you guys is don't beat yourself up for where you're at. Think about where you're going, the lessons you've learned, the person that you've become. You're like the little red ant. You will die trying. So I hope you guys got something out of this. I got to go. Going to be late to go do my real job. And I hope that all of you have an amazing Memorial weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the time with your family. I'm going to keep killing it all day, every day. Have a great day, everyone.